you want to start?
Well, you start because you were the one who noticed me.
Okay, the way we met was this. I was a student at the time. I was up in the Northwest Territories doing uranium exploration, and I was in an isolated camp, and we had a plane fly into the camp, and Karen got off the airplane. And Karen was in the camp because she was a nursing student, and the company I was working with at the time felt that it would be a good idea to have a nursing student in the camp in case there was an injury, because the nursing student could patch us up.
He was the only one who ever got injured that summer, and I patched him up.
So that's how we met. We met in the middle of the Northwest Territories in an exploration camp on the shore of a beautiful lake, and that's it.
And I was working also in the kitchen because there wasn't a lot of stuff to do as a nurse, really. So he used to come into the kitchen after every shift, and he would come up into the kitchen and he'd get lots of drinks because it was, you know, hot in the summer. And the chef said, you know, he's not really coming for the drinks. And I said, yes, he is. He said, no, I don't think he is. He's coming for you.
That happened later on in the summer, not at the beginning. But that's how we met.
Is there a story about the sky? Is that you looked at the...
Oh yeah, that was the first kiss.
Tell us about your first kiss.
Actually, up north, there's the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
And so the first time he kissed me, I happened to look up in the sky, and it looked like a big bow was unraveling. It's just so instead of seeing stars, I saw this big bow in the sky.
She saw lights, literally.
And I told myself I'd never forget it, and I never have.
It's really nice.
You guys are making us cry.
So that must have been really late at night because we were in the territories and the summers were long.
And he was a really good kisser.
Yeah, I still am. Or so my women tell me.
Don't say that.
Okay, so how long from that first kiss until you proposed?
That first kiss was in the summer of 1980, and we were talking about this morning. We think that the proposal happened probably during May of '83.
Oh.
So it was a long time later.
How did you propose?
We proposed long distance over the telephone because, of course, after that summer, Karen went back to school in Kingston, and I went back to school in Montreal, and we had a year to finish of being students, and then I went back to the United States to live for a year, and I eventually found work, and all that happened before we felt comfortable enough to even think about getting married.
So who asked who then?
Well, my mom and her sister and I decided that we were going to try to stay up all night the way my dad's sisters and their kids did. They would stay up all night and party. And we thought if they can do it, we can do it. But we never could do it before, and we didn't end up making it that night either, but we probably got to about 1 in the morning and we were so tired we wanted to go to bed. But before we went to bed, our mission that night had been to try and figure out how Alex and Karen were going to get married. And so I phoned them. And I didn't ask them, but I said, you know, what are we going to do? You know, I've got a job and we're both graduated now and we're so far apart. And then I think you probably said, do you remember?
I probably popped the question. And we probably agreed that it was a good idea. Well, otherwise we wouldn't be married. Mm-hmm. And then I had a conversation with Karen's dad. Was it that?
No, the next morning.
The next morning I had a conversation with
he did the traditional, called my dad.
Talk to the future father-in-law.
And my dad says, Alex, what can I do for you? And he knew.
Yeah, at that point, Karen's dad knew.
Yeah.
And everything went okay, the conversation went okay, and the rest is history.
Except we had to get him over the border. And so we ended up getting married in November Nobody gets married in November. Everybody says to us, why would you get married in November? Well, the answer is the visa came through. And we could finally be together because we'd been like 3 years apart. Him in California, me in Ontario. And when the visa came through, we got married.
Sweet.